What's up guys, Lee Fry here, welcome to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about the Panasonic G7 and whether that's still a viable option here in 2022 going into 2023, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Alright guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, the kind of things you're going to see here is tips, tricks, reviews, and tutorials for the budget filmmaker slash content creator. So if that's something you might be interested, go ahead and consider subscribing. Alright guys, we're going to get into it and to talk about where the Panasonic G7 is a viable option in 2022 going into 2023. And this is kind of a sentimental camera to me because it was my first interchangeable lens mirrorless camera. So I enjoyed my time with it, loved it when I had it, so it does have some sentimental value to me. But that's not gonna keep me from having an honest opinion about it. So anyways guys, we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. Let's talk about some of the positives. Shoots in 4K at 30 frames and 24 frames per second. You have a couple picture profiles such as Cinelike D, Cinelike V, so you can kind of tweak your picture in post to what you might like. You do have access to some video-centric features such as histograms, focus peaking, zebra lines, those kind of things. You have audio in jack, so you can attach a mic to this. It has the lovely flippy screen that we all like. So it has a lot of good features. There's a lot of good things about this camera that a lot of people would like. It's very cheap right now. You can get this thing on the used market between $300 to $400. You can buy it brand new, I believe I've seen on Amazon for about $500. I would recommend not getting it brand new because there's so many great used options out there. But there's a lot of positives for this camera. It is a micro four thirds sensor, so you have access to the wide array of lenses that you can adapt to this camera. So there's a lot of good things to like about this camera. So now let's talk about some of the things that we might not like. So we'll start with the big elephant in the room, the autofocus. The autofocus on the G7 is I'm just gonna say it's terrible. It's next to the GH4. It was one of the worst autofocus cameras I've had when it comes to Panasonic, and they're not exactly known for their autofocus. So the autofocus is not good. If you are needing to be in front of the camera, it would probably not be the best camera for you because you can't trust the autofocus at all. You have to use manual focus all the time. If you were behind the camera, I think it'd be a good camera for you. Now, again, in front of the camera, I wouldn't even mess with that. There is also no IBIS in this camera. This is before Panasonic started putting IBIS in their cameras, so the G7 is completely unstabilized, has no internal stabilization. All right, the build of the camera is, it's not bad. Doesn't feel like a toy camera, but it's not great. There is no weather sealing. You don't have any spin dials on the back. You don't have any joystick on the back to kind of help adjust focus when you're doing manual focus or setting focus points. You don't have any of that. So that is one. The build quality, I would not say is great. I don't think it's horrible, but it's not great. Lastly, it does have some video features that are good for it, but it just doesn't have the same as the S5, the GH5, the GH6, even the GH4. It doesn't have like all the same videos, but you don't have the shutter angle, you don't have vector scopes, you don't have waveforms. It's got the micro HDMI port, which sucks. Hell, my S5 has that as well, so that kind of sucks. That micro HDMI is horrible. I don't know why they put those on cameras anyways. So it doesn't have all the same video centric features. Also, it does only shoot in 8-bit. There's no 10-bit options. There's no log options. So what you get out of the camera is what you get. You're not going to have a lot of room to tweak the colors without the image falling apart, so that is something else to take into consideration. Also, it does have 1080p 60 for slow motion, but it is a very, very small codec. If I remember correctly, it's 28 megabits per second, if I remember correctly, on the 1080p 60, which is not a lot. So it's a very low quality bit rate, and you will not be able to push it very far. So that's something to take in consideration. So now you guys have heard all of the positives, all of the negatives. Do I think this camera is worth it in 2022 going to 2023? And it's going to be kind of a weird answer when I say yes and no. The reason I say yes is if you are a brand new content creator, filmmaker, whatever the case is, and you're strictly going to be behind the camera, I think this is a great starter camera for you. I think you'll be able to get a lot out of this camera, and you'll be able to grow from this camera. You'll be able to hone your skills. So I feel like if that is you, this camera is great for you. Or let's say you have like a, a higher level, a GH5 or something, or even a GH4, and you just want a second angle. I think it'd be good for that as well. Who I think this is not for is for the professional. The people that are going to be needing those higher end specs, those higher end capabilities out of their camera. The people that might need better autofocus, people might need IPIS, the people that need 10-bit or more, people that need a log profile. Those kind of people, that camera would not be for. I would not recommend them getting, not even for a second angle, to be honest with you. It's not going to hold up and give you the same image as your higher end camera would. It's a good image, but it's not going to compete with some of your higher end cameras. So that's why I say yes, that's why I say no. If you are a beginner, by all means, and you want to learn and get better, I feel like it's a great camera for you, and you can produce some great content starting off. But if you're a professional, I would probably stay away from this camera. But that's just, I don't know, it's just my humble opinion. You feel free to disagree with me down in the comments if you want to. Otherwise, like I said, it's a very sentimental camera for me. I love this camera. I still think it's a good buy. It just really depends on what your use case is. So anyways, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this video up. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys found some use out of it. If there's anything you guys want to see, like I always say, leave a comment, let me know. If you're not already subscribed, like I said earlier, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel and join me on this journey. Anyways, guys, going to wrap this thing up. We'll see you guys at the next video. Have a good one.